One day my dream is to be a CEO. My goal is to reach the maximum potential in my career. But will it be easy for me to achieve it? Will it be easy to go up the ladder with the high job competition out there? What qualifications will help me to be more prominent than others and secure my career?
Indeed, Marie. I also do have these questions in my mind. And I suppose all my brothers and sisters who have participated right now also have the same questions and doubted themselves in their minds. Luckily, we all have come to the best place to find out answers. Stay with us throughout the session to get the best out of it. A very good evening to all of you.
Success is not a destination, but the road that you're on. Being successful means that you're working hard and walking your walk every day. You can only live your dream by working hard towards it. That's living your dream.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the second session of Path to Pro 2022, proudly presented by the Commerce Club of University of California. Here, we are honored to announce CIMA as our gold sponsor of Path to Pro 2022. Before moving on to today's program, let's recall session 1 of Path to Pro 2022, which was successfully conducted yesterday with the participation of CIM, CIPM, and BCS. The session recording will be released very soon to the YouTube channel of the Commerce Club. Over to you, Marie.
You might wonder, why is it important to become a professional? Well, in the working world, your professionalism encompasses the way you carry yourself, your attitude, and the ways you communicate with others. Being professional can ensure a positive first impression, successful interpersonal relationships, and a lasting reputation within your organization and industry. So, this will be a great opportunity for all of us who have joined us today to gather insights that will help you in strengthening your future career.
Now, we would like to invite the Vice Secretary of the Commerce Club, Vishaka Jayatunga, to do the welcome speech.
Good evening, everyone. I'm highly honored and feel privileged to have been given the opportunity to welcome everyone on this very special occasion. Respected Dr. M. Shamil, today our guest speaker, Mr. Tarindu Vijayawardena, Ms. Dulni Fernando, Mr. Subodha Meepage, all the lecturers and all the undergraduates. Today, it's a great pleasure to invite you all for another session of Commerce Club. As I'm sure you all know, Path to Pro is a project which is focused in professional development, organized by the Commerce Club of the Department of Commerce and Financial Management. In purpose of the continuous development of commerce undergraduates, today we are stepping into second session of Path to Pro. I warmly welcome Mr. Tarindu Vijayawardena, Manager Stakeholder Engagement, Pathways and Relationships, Ms. Dulni Fernando, CEO of CA Sri Lanka, Mr. Subodha Meepage, Manager, Channel Development of SLIM. It is our pleasure to host you all and give you a platform to continue the session. Thank you.
Thank you, Vishaka. So next, we would like to invite our lecturer, Mr. Hashan Vimalasri, to address the session.
Good evening, everyone. So, all the lecturers, our Dr. M. Shamil, our head of the department, and all the guest lecturers or the institute partners, the CIMA, especially the gold sponsor of our program, and CA Institute and SLIM, who is representing the Mr. Tarindu Vijayawardena this will be a thankful invitation for you and CA Institute, Miss Dulli Fernando, and Slim and CIM both will be covered by Mr. Subodha Mipage. And I really appreciate your participation for this event. And actually, I have to say, this is organized. The main purpose of this event is to make a bridge between institute and the universities, right? The Commerce Club is one of the main club, and as well as our department. In 1976, we have started this Bachelor of Commerce special degree program, and we have more than 44 years history. Therefore, we have a lot of people pass out through your organization. Therefore, we recognize university and the organization there should be a link between both of the institutes as well as the university. And also and also I have to mention that your institute syllabus, we can see most of the subjects are covered at the same time in the university also. Therefore, we are expecting to have exemptions for studying 2 times. I think it's useless. Therefore, we can study those things and we can make arrangements. So still we are arranging with the CA institutes, and CMA we have exemptions. So CIMA and other institute, there will be some chance. We are hoping so. And also I have to mention, we can share the link. Link means contacts through the interest parties, right? Interest students contact details with you, and students will arrange everything with you. Therefore, this will be a open discussion. And also I have to mention, please make sure to use both the language, because our first year and the second year, there will be they have some English matters and all the things. Therefore, again, all the institutes who participated for this event, as well as we are hoping to continue this relationship for a long time. I hope so. If you have any matter, you can contact our club members, as well as if we have any matters, definitely we are contacting you. Right. Thank you very much, and I wish you all the best for to do a successful event today also.
Thank you very much, sir. So now it's time for the promotional advertisement of our gold sponsor.
Do you want to know how you can get the CIMA qualification faster? Join CIMA through the CGMA Finance Leadership Program, a self-paced digital learning and assessment platform designed to ensure smarter learning and faster success. Discover the power of opportunity with the fastest route to completing the CIMA professional qualification at an affordable price and a double
So now let's move on with today's proceedings. The Chartered Institute of Management Accountants is the global professional management accountancy body based in UK. If you want to be a professional management accountant, this is the chance for you. Our first guest this evening, Mr. Tharindu Vijayawardena, the manager of stakeholder engagement, pathways and relationship of CIMA. Mr. Tharindu, the floor is yours.
A very good evening, and thank you very much for that warm welcome and the introduction to the session. And University of Carolina is not a strange place for me. I've been visiting the university for quite some time for the last 8 to 10 years, and I've been talking to your lecturers, and we have had certain arrangements in place to support the undergraduates as well as graduates in the past. And it's such a pleasure for me to be here and to address you all and walk you through the options that are available for undergraduates like you all. And I like the term that you have been using, the organizers, how you could be a professionally qualified graduate as they complete the university program. I think when we were in our university days, these kind of sessions were not available, to be very frank. I'm not an alumnus of University of Carolina, by the way, but in our university programs, those were not available. So, but I'm really glad, and I'm really happy that these are organized, and you have been inviting professional institutes like ours and CAs and other professional institutes who are in the picture and coming here and delivering a session. So I'm not going to take a lot of time. I think I've been allocated about 20 to 30 minutes in terms of the delivery. So I'll stick to the timeline and quickly run through what I would like to present to you all. My dear students, we are living in extraordinary times, to be very frank, if I'm to put it that way. And there can be a time, because right now I'm experiencing a power cut. So in case if there is a lag of my voice, if any of you could just pick it up and maybe put it on the chat window, I'd be able to work through my network connection. So that itself is a I would say a struggle, but we are facing it. Adaptation, I think it goes without saying, adaptation is the key to what we have to become. So adapt and thrive is the theme that I would like to talk to you today. Now, if I'm to walk you through these couple of slides, I mean, these are given, you've seen this in the past, and you see this in your day-to-day life, how a coconut tree adapts its way. You know, you hardly find a coconut tree that goes, in a straight line. You always see, they find their way to go, look out for the sun that they need to grow. And I'll also like to quickly show you this one. It's a quick snapshot of a sprint of a Paralympic start. Now, they all are capable of running, but at some point, for some reason, they have lost a limb, or they have been disabled for some reason, but they're not given up. They've gone ahead, they've adapted, and they're now competing in the world stadium. And let's look at Sri Lankans, right? This is something that we are all quite familiar with, which we did not expect this to happen given a couple of years ago. But right now, we are adapting to go out and look out for the bicycles that we have not been using for the last good, I would say 2 to 3 years. If you are, I'm talking about you because you're an undergraduate right now. Many of you all would have had a cycle when you were little, right? So, but we never saw people had to go out and wait in a queue to go and buy a bicycle, right? So these are things that we are seeing, and rather we are adapting to the stage in which the world that we live in. Now, you hear the term inflation day in, day out. You hear the term of goods the prices going, increasing day in, day out. But then at the same time, we are still surviving. Why? There are certain means and modes that we have adapted ourselves. Now, for the next couple of minutes, my dear students, what I want you all to do is, because some of you all, as it was said in the introduction, might be in your first year of studies. Some of you all might be in your second year or third year of studies, right? And what I want you all to do is, initially, before I go through with any of the introductions to CIMA, I want all of you to close your eyes for 9 seconds, not a second more than that. Close your eyes for 9 seconds and visualize yourself as to what you would want to become as you complete your university studies. 9 seconds, your time starts now. Close your eyes, just visualize yourself. Okay. Right? All right, think your time's up. Now, my dear students, if you did not have time to do it, if you just joined, visualization is the key to achieve success. And that I have been practicing. Many people who have gone through the world, who have gone and done things for themselves, okay, starting off with, forget about doing things to others, from people who have done things for themselves. We have people who have been successful. The very first instinct of doing things starts off with visualization. So if you do visualize yourself as to what you want to become at the end of your university program, and then maybe a couple of years down the line, that itself is the start for you to do things, right? If I'm to ask you, you are now in a prestigious university program having to complete a prestigious university degree. Now, a couple of years ago, when you were doing your advanced level studies, when you wanted to get into the university, and you had a reason to do so, right? Why? Because you had that imagination, you visualize yourself of becoming an undergraduate somehow of a local university system. Now you need to go a step beyond that, my dear students, and think about your careers. You complete your university program, you are completed with a well-finite university degree program. But at the same time, I think at the introductions, they were quite correct. They were saying something to do with how do you get yourself become, the correct word is desirable in the job market. Now, if you do visualize yourself in another couple of years down the line, this is what I would want to become, this is what I want to start as. Now you need to think, what would get me there? Okay, remember the journey. You visualize yourself and you work your journey from there. Now, if at all, if the options direct you to be competent and confident in management accounting, I would rather encourage you all to take on a program like this. Now, CIMA qualification is a qualification that is recognized in over 190 different countries. And this is the best part of it. I'm not very bothered about being recognized in 190 different countries. This is what intrigues me the most. Over 172,000 organizations are employing CIMA members. ඒ කියන්නේ දුවේ පුතේ 1,70,000කට ආසන්න හෝ වැඩි ප්‍රමාණයක ආයතන මේ රටවල් 192 අතරේ තියෙන මේ CIMA පාඨමාලා ඉවර කරපු ඒ members ලව students ලව recruit කරනවා. Now, this is another slide I take a lot of pride in showing. Now, I told you, I want you all to visualize, right? What you want to become and where would you want to work? Okay, what kind of activity, or what kind of industries that you would love to go and work at, right? Different, all of you might be having different ideas. Now, I wanted to show you, now, these are the companies, the biggest brands in the world that you could think of that we work with. And of course, they have their openings. Of course, you could apply for those opportunities out there. Now, if you take the left corner of the slides, you would notice the top tech brands in the world are working with CIMA. Why? They've seen the importance of qualified management accountants. Now, I'm going to quickly run through some insights as well, because my job is to walk you through the options of what you need to do for you to be a better professional in a couple of years, right? So I know many of you all have your LinkedIn profiles. If you don't have them, I would encourage you all to go ahead and create one for yourselves. And when you do so, I would encourage you all to subscribe to 2 pages. Number 1, the World Economic Forum. Number 2, the McKinsey Global Institute. Now, if you are on TikTok, which I'm sure many of you are, right? If you are on TikTok, my again advice to you, my dear students, please go and subscribe to these 2 channels. They put out a lot of information that are relevant to you as a young undergraduate who's about to complete their university program and get into the job market. Now, here there was a study that was done in February 2021. I say, amongst the 8 countries that you see on screen, by 2030, meaning 8 years from now, over 100 million workers may need to switch occupations, right? Now, it does not mean that you would lose your jobs, but the study says within these 8 focus countries, 100 million people. Of course, the countries that you see here have the biggest population in the world. But at the same time, you should think The Sri Lankan population is only 22 million, my dear students. And we are looking at 100 million people just amongst these 8 countries, and they predict they need to switch occupations. Why? The learning that they have, or the technicalities that they have, the competencies that they possess by that time might be redundant. So whatever that you do, my dear students, you need to have that open mind to understand and learn avenues and opportunities, right? That can make you that have transferable skills, so that you could be agile in your career aspirations. You are able to move from one industry to another, one area of interest to another, right? Depends on the requirements that presents. Now I'm going to quickly run through this. Now many of us have heard of this a magazine called Forbes, right? Now Forbes have put out the top 10 skills of the future. Take a look at this very quickly. I'm going to run through the 6 topics that you see on the left side of the screen. Technology skills, embracing change, leadership skills, judgment and decision making, analytical thinking, active learning with the growth mindset are directly developed within the professional qualification. Now, I'm not going to go through the content of what CIMA delivers, my dear students, because as the introduction correctly said, many of the curriculum content of what you go through in your university program are also being delivered in the CIMA qualification as well. So there are exemptions available, which I'll talk to you in a moment. Okay, but what you need to understand is, with what you learn, remember what I said, with what you learn, what skills will you possess, so that you can apply these skills for the needs and demands of the profession. Forbes have put out, these are the demands. So unless otherwise you have these skills and knowledge, you might not be able to take on those opportunities that are out there. Now, quickly to run through. Now, CIMA stands for Chartered Institute of Management Accountants. So, concept of management accounting. එහෙම නැත්නම් අපි කියන දේ පුතේ කළමනාකරන ගණකාධිකරණය කියන දේ අපි හැමෝම දන්න දෙයක්. ඔබ සාමාන්‍ය පෙළට කොමර්ස් කරලා තියෙනවා නම් එහෙම නැත්නම් ඔබ උසස් පෙළට ඔබ කොමර්ස් කරලා තියෙනවා නම් හරි මේ කළමනාකරන ගණකාධිකරණය ඔබ දන්න දෙයක්. හරි. So what does a management accountant do? Now, that's the question that you need to ask yourself. I know what the subject is. I know what this teaches, but ask yourself, what do these guys do? Right? Now, management accountants, my dear students, are positioned as business leaders. Number 2, we are positioned as innovation advisors, and we are data-backed decision makers. Now, that is crucial in the current context of things. You see what happened. You see what's happening when people are making decisions without proper support of proper data. And of course, we encourage you to be forecasters as well. Now, again, go back to the very first thing that I told you. I told you to visualize yourself at some place. Now think about whatever that I'm talking here, how can that relate to whatever that you want to become? Now that's how you bridge the gap and do things that you have to do to get to that place, my dear students. Now very quickly, I'm going to run through this also. These are 4 prominent names in the country I would want you all to take a look at. Ms. Melanie Kanaka, who's the current president of CIMA. We are very proud to recognize, meaning out of those 192 countries, we have a Sri Lankan being at the top of all the members in the world. Okay, and she's now in Canada advocating for CIMA, and she'll be coming to CIMA in Sri Lanka in a couple of weeks, right? And then you would see Ms. Kasturi Chelaraja, who's the Group CEO of HEMA Holdings, and the head of Dialogue Asiata, Group Chief Executive Supunira Singh, and Mr. Suren Fernandez, who's the CEO of MS Holdings. All are bringing that foreign revenue to the country, right? And drives the country's economy in very top positions. These are quick examples of the companies that we work with. These are corporate partners for 2022. I'm not going to talk a lot on this one. I'm going to move through. But this is a slide that I take a lot of interest in showing. Now, you might wonder, fine, I'm passionate of doing a professional qualification. Maybe my passion lies with the CIMA studies, and I'd like to take on the CIMA qualification. Now, in doing so, if I'm to be employed in Sri Lanka, what are the options that are available? Now, these are the top 20 companies in the country, my dear students, that recruits CIMA members. Majority of CIMA members are recruited at MS Holdings. And again, put yourself out there. Remember what you visualize. Remember what you wanted to start as. And if you want to work in one of these companies, perhaps this could be the choice for you. Central Bank being number 2, number 3 are John Keel's, and you can see all the top banks in the country are listed here. And this might be the same with other professional institutes as well. All professional, if you are qualified professionally as well as through your university degrees, might so that you know for you in the country. Now this is outside of the country. Now I was a victim of this because I had to renew my passport a couple of weeks ago, right? And I had to be in a queue like this to get my thing done, right? Now, why would they do that? Now, I've been talking to them. I'm not going to bore you with the details. Many of them, they just want to get the passport and then they look at options available for themselves. So having looked at it, I have not seen the people, as per the type of people who are waiting in the queue and for the type of people who are leaving the country, there's a huge gap. There's a huge gap. So you can walk through the numbers and see for yourselves one of these days. Why? My dear students, yes, you can have your passport, but if you don't have the skills, especially if you're looking out for a job opportunity overseas, if you don't have the skills, it's very difficult to find a job that suits you and that pays you well and also looks after you. Now, those are things that you need to do researches on. Now, I take a lot of pride in showing this out to you all. Now, this is a snapshot understanding of CIMA members who were Sri Lankans in the past, or rather who are Sri Lankans. Canada, 203. If you take Australia, 1,275. New Zealand, 90. These are only members, by the way, meaning they're done with their exams. They have their work experience added with 3 years of work experience, and now they become CIMA members and are working in the other countries. In Europe, in Middle East, you see this. Now, for a week, I take a lot of pride in telling this out to you all. For a week, I don't know, for some reason, I get 6+ applications coming in who would like to go to number 1. The best case scenarios have been Canada, number 2, Qatar, and Australia. And now with the New Zealand borders are open, now the New Zealand applications are also coming in. Why? Because the skills are transferable. Skills are not confined to a location, so that you could use and the recognition is CIMA and all that. Now I would like to quickly touch upon what do we teach? Okay, what skills do we teach in case if you do not have an understanding on it. Now, I'd like to pick on these 5 areas: thinking and finance skills in different business situations, and business skills as to how do you transform data into insights, and people skills, how to communicate, influence, negotiate, collaborate, right? And leadership skills, digital skills. So we do combine these 5 skills in our delivery. Now, this is a quick understanding of the CIMA syllabus, where you have 4 levels to complete, starting at certificate level, then you have the operational level, management, and strategic levels. So don't worry too much about these levels at this point. Just have an understanding that we have 4 levels to complete. And in essence, if you are looking at completing the CIMA studies, given that you are an undergraduate of the university program, and we are currently working out a mechanism of registering you as an undergraduate to the platform, like the introduction said, it is not finalized yet, but we are looking at it, meaning you would get your first stage exempted, and then you could focus on the second stage, third stage, and the fourth stage of CIMA. Now, I told you earlier, roughly, it will take about 2 years to complete this one. Now, with the finance leadership program, I think that was the video clip that you saw earlier. That's the newest addition to the CIMA learning deliveries, meaning the entire curriculum that you see here, my dear students, are now defined and developed within an online learning platform, meaning you can complete the learning components here in the platform itself without having to face an external test. මං හිතන්නේ මං කිව්ව දේ පැහැදිලි නැත්නම් මං පැහැදිලි කරන්නම් දුවේ පුතේ. දැන් යුනිවර්සිටි එකේ undergraduate කෙනෙක් විදිහට ඉන්න ඔබව සීමා පාඨමාලාව කරන්න කැමති නම් ඔබට පුළුවන් අවස්ථාවක් තියෙනවා මේ පළවෙනි ස්ටේජ් එක නිදහස් කරගෙන අපේ මේ දෙවෙනි ස්ටේජ් එකේ ඉඳලා ඉගෙනීම් කටයුතු කරගෙන යන්න. දැන් සාමාන්‍යයෙන් ඒ විදිහේ කරගෙන යනවා නම් මාස 6ක් වගේ කාලයක් යනවා මේ එක ලෙවල් එකක් ඉවර කරන්න. හැබැයි මම මේ ඉන්ට්‍රොඩියුස් කරන්න යන ෆයිනෑන්ස් ලීඩර්ෂිප් ප්‍රෝග්‍රෑම් කියන රූට් එක යටතේ දුවේ පුතේ මේ platform එකේ තියෙන operational level, management level, strategic level කියන subjects learning ටික අපි develop කරලා තියෙනවා online platform එක. ඒ කියන්නේ ඔබට කරන්න තියෙන්නේ ඒ learning component එක platform එක හරහා ඉවර කරන්න. එතකොට ඔයාලව expose වෙනවා අපි කියන ඒවට knowledge checks. අපි කියන platform එක ඇතුලේ තියෙන assignments වලට ඔබව expose වෙනවා. ඒකෙන් ඔබට අවශ්‍ය කරන දැනුම හම්බෙනවා සහ අපිට අවබෝධයක් තියෙනවා ඔබ මේ platform එකේ කොහොමද කොයි ආකාරයෙන්ද ඉගෙන කටයුතු කරගෙන යන්නේ කියලා. And it's an AI driven platform, meaning the platform understands what you lack and then help you out with your teaching. Now, talking to your senses, the beauty of this essentially is you will be exposed to only one external exam in a level. Now, meaning what will happen is if you are to complete the CIMA studies that way, out of the four levels, now essentially we have 16 exams altogether. Now, when you do get yourselves exposed to only one external exam, meaning assuming that you get your certificate level exempted here, you will be only required to take case studies of each of these levels. ඒ කියන්නේ දෙපොතේ මේ හැම level එකකටම තියෙන exams හතරෙන් ඔබට අවශ්‍ය කරන්නේ මේ operational case study කියන exam එක පළවෙනි level එකේ, ඊට පස්සේ management case study කියන exam එක ඊළඟ level එකේ, ඊට පස්සේ strategic case study exam කියන එක ඊළඟ level එකේ ඉවර කිරීම පමණයි. මම හිතනවා මම පැහැදිලි කියලා. එහෙම නැත්නම් අපි කතා කරමු කාලය ලොකුවට ගන්න බැරි නිසා මම ඉක්මනින් මෙතනින් ඉදිරියට යනවා. හරි. දැන් මේ finance leadership program කියන්නේ එක මම පොඩ්ඩක් මේකෙදි ඉදිරියට යන්න. මොකද්ද මේ FLP route එක කියන්නේ කියලා. සාමාන්‍යයෙන් මේක ඔබවට අපි කියන ring සම්පූර්ණ option එක ගන්න පුළුවන්. එතකොට real world learning with lesser number exams. So except of taking 16 exams, you are now required to take only 3 external exams, right? The rest of which are developed and driven within the platform itself. And of course, the first stage of CIMA, which is the certificate level, will be exempted for you. Right? මම එතනින් හට continue කරන්න යන්නේ නැහැ. මම මෙතන පොඩ්ඩක් touch කරගෙන යන්න. So this is not an assignment. අපි අහලා තියෙන ගොඩක් private universities තියෙන assignments විතරක් කරලා කරන්න පුළුවන් දේවල්. එහෙම නෙවෙයි. It's a different qualification. It's not a different qualification. It's the same qualification, and it is not hard, and it's not comparatively more expensive. So those options need to be considered here. And we have 3 tuition partners: Imperial College of Business Studies, Nanaska, and Wisdom Business Academy, who would help you with the delivery of the same. Now, this is a quick comparison. Now, ඔබ සාමාන්‍යයෙන් අපි හිතුවොත් මේ first stage එක නිදහස් වෙනවා, අපි exempt වෙනවා කියලා. මේ levels හැම එකේම මම කලින් කිව්වා වගේ exams 4 ගානේ කරන්න ඕනේ. සාමාන්‍ය platform එකේ exams කරනවා නම්. ඒ කියන්නේ බුදුවේ පුතේ exams 12ක් කරන්න අවශ්‍යයි. External exams. හරි, මතක තියාගන්න external exams කියන වචනේ. මේ platform එකේ යටතේ දුවේ පුතේ ඔබට කරන්න අවශ්‍ය වෙන්නේ එක exam එකක් විතරයි external විදිහට. එතකොට අර 12න් ඔබ expose වෙන්නේ මේ case studies exams වලට විතරයි. අනිත් ඔක්කොම අර platform එක ඇතුලේ ඔබට ඉවර කරන්න පුළුවන්කම තියෙනවා. හරි. එතනින් එහාට මම මේක ගැන මතක් කරන්න flexible payment plans තියෙනවා. ඔබට අවශ්‍ය නම් connect වෙලා ඒ විස්තර ලබා ගන්න පුළුවන්. banks 9ක් අපිත් එක්ක මේ විදිහ වැඩ කරගෙන යනවා. මොකද මේ දවස්වල ගොඩක් වැදගත් ඒ කාරණාව. මම මේක පොඩ්ඩක් කියන්න කැමතියි. සාමාන්‍යයෙන් this was gathered through a conversation with people like you, undergraduates. So I've been asking, what would you choose, or what makes you choose a learning solution? Now, essentially, that teaches you the skills that are highly recommended by the employers. That's given, right? And that offers you flexible learning, right? And then also that allows you to be agile in your career aspirations. Remember what I told you, by 8 years time, what will happen? And of course, the certification that is recognized by the employers. And then I've been asking, okay, fine, there are enough and more qualifications, enough and more learning options that are available that can satisfy those requirements. So when you do have to select out of this lot, what makes you select them? Essentially, they've been telling me the time it takes. Now, if you do look at CIMA can be completed in a period of 1 year in that platform that I just described. And that offers the skills that are relevant, the financial commitment, the most important element at this point, because right now everything is expensive. And also that offers me convenient study support and tuition delivery that CIMA can help you out. Now, this is an example of someone who has completed CIMA in a span of 10 months, by the way. Now, this guy completed everything by taking all the exams, not necessarily through the platform that I was referring to. මේ පුතා සම්පූර්ණ ඉවර කරලා තියෙනවා. ඉතින් ඒ option එකක් තියෙනවා. මම ඒ නැතුණත් මම අර කිව්ව finance leadership program කියන option එකත් ඔබට තියෙනවා. අවසාන වශයෙන් මේ slides තුන මම ඉවර කරන්න. opportunities in a volatile world කියන එක. මම කැමති ඔබ මම කියපු දේවල් verify search කරලා ඔබගේ අවබෝධයක් අරගෙන informed decision එකකට යනවා. මොකද ඔබගේ careers වලට ඔබම තමයි වග කියන්න ඕනේ. හරි අපි කවුරුත් වග කියන්නේ නැහැ. ඔබගේ ජීවිතේට ඔබ ගන්න තීරණ වලට ඔබම තමයි වග කිව යුතු වන්නේ. ඒ නිසා ඔබ ගන්නා තීරණ informed decision විය යුතුමයි. ඉතින් ඒ නිසා මම කියන්නේ මේ global career hub කියන එකට ගිහලා බලන්න දුවේ පුතේ මේ මොහොතේ වෙද්දි සීමා පාඨමාලාවට අදාළව if you are only qualified with CIMA the options that are available. Now you have an advantage because you have your CIMA studies if provided if you want to do that. Plus, if you want to do with your university program, you are dual qualified at the end of it. So you can see the options that are available as you complete your degree. Now, this is this thing, you can just search for Sri Lanka and find this one out as to the jobs that are available in the country in Sri Lanka for CIMA students and members. And finally, this is a personal request from me for you all to look out for this. Now, if you do go to, this is an interesting platform, eBay, right? If you do look into this, just search for Sri Lanka. නිකන් සර්ච් කරලා බලන්න දෙය පොතේ ශ්‍රී ලංකා කියලා. බලන්න අපේ ළමයි කරන දේවල්. හරිද? ගොඩක් වෙලාවට මම හිතන්නේ ඔබ රැකියාවක නිරත වෙන්නේ නැහැ. ඒ කියන්නේ ගොඩක් වෙලාවට all your the support has been coming from your parents or whoever who's supporting you financially. Now, I'm not asking you to make millions and millions out of it. But if you do have time, you can do and go ahead and sell certain things. Now, this example, of course, is someone who have been selling cinnamon sticks at $7 for 50 grams. Yeah. මේ කිව්ව පලින් ගෙදර තියෙන අර බෝතලේ තියෙන සිනමන් ස්ටික්ස් අරගෙන ඇවිල්ලා එහෙම මේ පැක්ටල් විකුණන්න පුළුවන් කම නෙමෙයි ඔබට කියන්නේ. ඔබ මේක ඉගෙන ගන්න ඕනේ. මේක දැනගන්න ඕනේ. හොයලා බලන්න දුවේ පුතේ. මොකද පැකේජින් එකේ ඉඳලා ඔබගේ ප්‍රොඩක්ට් එක මාකට් කරන තැනේ ඉඳලා ඔබ ප්‍රොඩක්ට් එක කවුරු හරහාද කුරියර් කරන්නේ තැන ඉඳලා මොන ඔඩියන්සස් වලටද මේක පිච් කරන්නේ තැන ඉඳලා ගොඩක් දේවල් ඉගෙන ගන්න ඕනේ. ඒ ඉගෙන ගන්න එක හරි පහසු දෙයක්. සහ මේ කාරණාවත් එක්ක ඔබට පුළුවන් ඔබ වෙනුවෙන් යම්කිසි දෙයක් කරගන්න. At least during the time that you complete your university degree. Now, this is a personal request from me. Look out for these things. These are things that can make, about 10,000 rupees a month to 20,000. Of course, you can go beyond that if you do put your heart and soul into it. But try to focus and do something for yourselves and make some bucks out of it, because any program that is available for you to learn outside of the university program requires you to pay money, a fee. So imagine you supporting yourself with the arrangement. So with that, I'd like to stop my introduction to the CIMA studies with this quote. My dear students, there are three groups of people in the world, which I see. Some people, they make things happen for themselves, meaning they just go out there, they see what's out there, they look out for certain opportunities and they go and do things and make things happen for themselves. And some people, they watch things happen. They take their own time to come to an agreement as to I need to do something for myself, but you never do it. You just watch and watch and watch. And there's another group of people who wonder what the hell just happened. හොඳට අද්දෙකුට තියංගලා තමුන් එක්ක හිටපු කට්ටිය මොකද ඔබ තාම තරුණයි. අවුරුදු 22යි 23යි 21යි 20යි වයස. හරි. ඉතින් ඔබ අවුරුදු 30 32 33 වෙදී ඔබ දකින්න ඔබත් එක්ක හිටපු ළමයි තමුන්ගේ ජීවිතයත් එක්ක ඉදිරියට යන වේගය. හරි මම කියන්නේ ඉදිරි අනාගතයේ අවුරුදු 7 8ක් ඇතුළත. එතකොට ඔබ මේ මොහොතේදී නම් හිතන්න පටන් ගන්නේ අඩේ මට මොකද උනේ? වටපිට ඔක්කොම මිනිස්සු ඉස්සරහට ගිහලා තියෙනවා. අන්න එතනදී ඔබ ගැටලුවක් කරගන්න. නිසා please get into the first mode of where you make things happen for yourselves. So thank you very much for the opportunity, and I'd like to encourage you all to take maybe a quick snapshot of this one, or maybe the team will share these contact information with you all to connect with the CIMA team if you need assistance in getting these areas cleared. So thank you once again for the opportunity, and I wish you all the very best and good luck with your studies, and hopefully to meet at one of the CIMA classrooms in the future. Thank you very much, the Commerce Club of University of Kelaniya Department of Commerce and Financial Management. I'll pass the mic back to you all. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Tarindu, for sharing your valuable insight with us. And actually, I agree with you that you shared some very valuable opinion to our undergraduates, about eBay and stuff. So thank you very much, sir. So next we will move on to the Q&A session. So if you have any questions regarding CIMA, you can use your chat box or unmute yourselves and feel free to ask any questions.
what is the minimum age that person can enroll with CIMA?
Yeah, I think that's anyone who's 16 years or above can start. I don't think that is applicable for you all, because you all have gone past that age. Plus, you have the unique distinction of having to complete one of the prestigious university programs. So you would get the first stage also exempted. So 16 years and above is the requirement for a fresher, by the way, not for you all.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Thank you for the question.
Sir,
Can
how about
anyone
the
choose?
okay, sorry, sir. Sir, how about the reputation of CIMA as a professional qualification?
Yeah, that's a good one. Reputation per se, I think the answer to that question, I would encourage you all to look at the job sites, the top jobs, I mean, observer jobs, and there are enough and more opportunities that you can look out for. Else, I would encourage you all to look out for the CIMA, I would say, just search for CIMA Global Career Hub. Okay, so when you do search for this one, you might find the options that are available, not only in the country, that's what I showed you out there, both in the country as well as in those 190 different countries. The designation matters, my dear. So you need to see what designations are being looked at by these companies out there. I think no one is asking me the important question, how much will it cost for me to complete? That has to be the first question that comes in, because maybe it will come up when you do your research and when you do connect with the CIMA staff. At the same time, my dear students, I would want you all to look out the remuneration packages that are available for CIMA members as you go through. So do go look out for the CIMA salary surveys and then have a look at the bucks that they make, of course, with experience. Plus, in your case, you are at a unique advantage. I've been repeating myself with the university degree as well as your CIMA studies, if that's the case. And then you can do a cross reference to the investment that you would make to complete CIMA and the amount of salaries that you would get along the way. Is that exemption for undergraduates or for degree holders? Currently, as I told you, the conversations are ongoing to get the undergraduates onto the platform, because it's not available as we speak. Graduates, of course, you could anyway come on board with the certificate level exemptions, my dear. But most likely, very soon, the undergraduate scheme will also be available for you all, so that you could start while you are in the university program.
So I also have a question to ask that are
Yeah.
there any financial support for those who are willing to enroll with the course but not financially stable?
Of course, there's no question about it. I think I showed you the 9. I think you can refer to the recording as well, my dear, because there are 9 banks who have signed up with it, who offers flexible credit card transactions as well as bank loans. And there are, you would not require to pay the nominal fee that a normal outside of university program student would pay, because that's what we are looking at, giving you that special rates for undergraduates. And yes, so banks front, credit card fronts, there is another arrangement. But as far as CIMA is concerned, we also have come up with a new payment scheme for undergraduates that will come through.
Okay, thank you.
And that, my pleasure. And there's another question asking to get the membership, is there a training requirement? I wouldn't use the word training them, but I would say is, if at all, what will happen is, as you complete your CIMA studies, this is essentially applicable for all the professional qualifications out there as well. You are required to work through, we would normally call it as the practical experience requirement. So you need to have covered certain number of months as far as the work experience is concerned. And you do encourage you all to complete that requirement in the, I would say, in the areas of management accounting. And it doesn't mean that you need to be working in a finance department, or you to be working in an accounting department, or for you to be an accountant for some time. There's no designation restriction per se. It depends on the areas of exposure that you have, and then you could apply to the membership based on that. My pleasure.
Guys, feel free to ask any questions. Ada Singhalen Harmon Singhalen Harihan. Yeah, it's totally fine.
me, sir. A student thought that the fluctuating value of the dollar would immediately affect the fees. So I want to clarify with this.
That's a very valid question. Thank you very much for that one. Number one, CIMA transaction, CIMA payments are done in sterling pounds, my dear. So what happens is, yes, and that's why we have encouraged the transactions to be in LKR and to be paid in one go. Now, in the normal sense, as you correctly said, CIMA students are required to pay as you go, meaning as and when they take an exam, you are required to go ahead and make a payment and take the exam. But in this FLP route, that's a subscription model, meaning you subscribe for a period of 1 year to complete the CIMA studies. Okay, so at that point, you are required to pay in one go, so that you would not need to be worried about having to, worry about the increased exchange rates in the time to come. So you would not need to worry, since you're paying everything in one go at the point of registration.
Thank you.
Pumi, thank you very much for the question. The question is, what will be the total cost to finish CIMA? It depends on the route that you are taking. So if the FLP route comes into play, I'm not in a position to discuss the arrangement because it's a huge, huge benefit to undergraduates like you all. So hang in there. Hopefully in the next couple of weeks to come, or within the next couple of months to come, you will be notified, and then you could come on board. And then you can do a cost comparison of a normal CIMA student paying to CIMA plus an undergraduate paying to CIMA. All right, I think you're not getting any more questions, and you're welcome to connect with me, my dear students. I mean, I can help you out on LinkedIn. If you do have your LinkedIn profiles, let me know. You can connect with me through LinkedIn. If not, just search for CIMA Sri Lanka, and my colleagues in general, they will be able to assist you. You can take a quick snapshot of this page and connect with the team. And yeah, you could connect me on LinkedIn if needed on professional studies and guidance on employment. All right, so thank you very much.
Yeah, I hope that's all from the audience. So that's the conclusion of the Q&A session. And Mr. Tarindu, we are glad to have you here. And once again, thank you very much for joining us today.
Always a pleasure, and
Over
thank
to
you
you.
for having me.
See you.